Hi there, this is Chris from MoneyHub, and this video looks at how to sell your car in New Zealand. So we've put together a comprehensive guide which walks you through everything you need to know, the pros, the cons, the fees, what to watch out for, and the purpose of this video is to summarize this guide into an easily kind of digestible format, so then you can take some time to have a read of the guide, see what sort of matters to you, and make an informed choice based on that. So first up, it's really critical to know that there's two ways to sell your car. First of all, you can do it privately. That's using something like TradeMe or a listing. The other option is to do it through a dealership, and that could be a cash offer or that could be a trade-in. So you do usually get a better price if you go privately, but it is a whole bunch of hassle, and it can lead to some sort of unintended outcomes if you don't actually sell the car or have an issue with the buyer. Whereas if you go to a dealership, you pretty much walk away with some money. You don't have it on your hands. They take care of everything else with regards to the transfer of ownership. So that can be a lot more attractive for time-poor people who just don't want the hassle. What will drive the price that you get? That's going to be the vehicle model. It's going to be the make, the condition, and the car service. So the better your car, the better condition it's in, the more appealing it is to potential buyers, then of course the higher the price. Things like lower mileage also help, and also the popularity of the model. But these are some of the things that you'll face when you do go to sell a car. If you're doing it privately, you can find out what other cars are selling for, and then other cars similar, and then make an informed choice based on that as to what you want to price yours at. There's two very useful tools which we always suggest people use. One of them is called Value My Car. That's from TradeMe, so you'll need to have a TradeMe account. But if you do, then you can log in and just go ahead there and put in your registration, and that's going to bring you up an estimate. The other one is Best Car. That's now been renamed to a new website called Car Price. That works very, very similar to TradeMe. So you just type in your plate. So in this case, I'll go 54321, and then I'll do 140,000 Ks, and then it'll bring up for this, which is a Peugeot 206 model, about 20 something years old, 20 plus years old. You'll get this report here, and it'll give you this estimated valuation. It's all free, and it gives you like a range there, but then you want to be checking that against the TradeMe tool as well. So these two tools, just to give you a first off price, get you familiar, but certainly go and do your research. Look at websites like TradeMe, Auto Trader, Driven, see what's listed, see what's available, and what the prices are, compare it to yours, and then you can come up with a rough estimate of what you think the car is worth. So we have no relationship with either of these sites, but we just like the tools, so that's why we've listed them, and they're certainly very easy to use. So as I said, there's two options. You can either sell your car privately or trade in through a dealership. Selling the car yourself, pros there is that you basically have full control of the process. You can probably get more money for your car because you're not being discounted by a broker, by a car yard. There are a lot of learning opportunities to experience with selling the car yourself. Whether or not that's positive or not, you can be the judge of that, but you will have to jump through a few hoops. But of course, you set the price, you control who comes and views your car, who comes and test drives your car, but you may have also some tire kickers, quite literally, who will waste your time. So the cons really is there's so much effort required, and you've got to you're responsible for selling it, and it's not always a great market for selling it. People may let you down, they may not show up to view it, they may just strangers calling you at strange hours, a whole bunch of hassle that can sometimes put people off. There's also issues with scammers as well, not so common, but still worth watching out for. So really, what we've suggested, if you are going to do this, always meet someone in a public location, never go by yourself. And then, if they do want to test drive, then, get a sense check of who they are, and then also have a friend join you. which of course takes their time as well. And this is why, you know, selling a car privately can be, you know, quite time consuming. Never meet the buyer. We say never meet the buyer at their place of residence nor yours, and you know, don't disclose your home address there, and then never release the car to the buyer until you receive the money, because once you've transferred the ownership, if they say, oh, the check will clear, not that anyone uses checks anymore, but some rubbish excuse, then, you know, there's very little you can do if you don't actually receive the money. Some people on Trade Me will say, oh, I'm overseas right now, I want to buy your car. Likely to be a scam, not always, but just be very careful of that. So the second option there is trading in. Pros there is just so convenient, you're not going to go wrong. People are just going to, you know, be able to give you a price pretty quickly, and because of course they're in the car business, and when I say people, I mean car yards and salespeople. This price that you're offered can be useful for a down payment. So just take that into account, that if you are buying another car, possibly and quite probably you'll get a higher price than just driving it in and saying, well, what can I get for my car? So that's something to be aware of. And then also you can just you know, trade a car and forget about any sort of issues. So there is a problem with selling privately that somewhere along the line, say 3 months later, a month later, you know, a car breaks down, and then, you know, they come back to you. This can go back and forwards, and it can be quite difficult. So I know that there aren't too many protections for private buyers, but at the same time, you know, you're dealing with someone who will want a remedy, and so what the law says and what actually happens are two separate things. So in many circumstances, so just be aware of that. The cons with selling it to a dealer is that the trade-in price is likely to be lower than if you'd done it yourself, and the money that you spent on maintaining the car and all that time, not really considered, not really a factor. They just want a quick and easy sale or quick and easy buy, and you want a quick and easy sale. So, you know, all the sort of added value that you may have put into it, like new tires, repair and tune-ups, likely to not really bring in too much extra value. And also the issue is the dealership may not want the car, so that's something to keep in mind, that, you know, just because like a car yard exists, it does not mean they want to take your car. So be aware of that it's not a sort of end-all solution. Now, if you are going to be selling it privately, and also this does apply to dealerships, but more so for privately, we've got some very useful tips to sort of get familiar with, you know, how to maximize the price. So depending on what you're selling it for, a car service is probably a good place to start. Like if you get a car service and then put it on the market, the buyers will be able to see, okay, the car recently got serviced, no issues here, this is what you need to know. And also looking at, you know, like just that you actually care for the car. So that's really important. Make sure that everything's up to date, you know, the car license, the rego, the road user charges, if that applies, if it's a diesel car, the warrant, you know, things like that, because that is going to really hold you back if you have one of those missing, or there's an issue with the warrant or something like that. So make sure all that's up to date, and you know, and then you should have no issues. Make sure that also the car isn't faulty, that you're not misleading anyone, because that is going to come back and get you. It's not the fact that, okay, something unforeseen happens. If you have been dishonest, if the car isn't, you know, exactly as you say it is, then you can, you know, have issues with private buyers. And then finally, set your sales price. So we've got a helpful guide here about car valuations, which is pretty much using the two tools which I've just mentioned, the Trade Me and the Best Car. But, you know, that is a very comprehensive guide, which I strongly suggest having a read through. You can have a look at it right here, and I've linked it down below in the video. So it's got sort of further tips to help you make sense of everything you need to know about how to value your car. Now, moving on from this, so must have information when potential buyers are looking for your car. Looking at your car, they really want to have, you know, like basic stuff. So good thing is to list all these things. So vehicle, make, model, and year, the body type. These are the things which need to be, in your description / available. The running condition, the color, photos of the car, selling price, engine capacity, all that good stuff. And then also you can add in further details, which we've listed here as nice to haves. So list of equipment or features is often very useful. Date when the next rego is due, date when it was last serviced, all that useful information to show that you care about the car. So that will make a listing very complete. It'll give all the information to a seller, to a buyer, and help them make an informed choice before they come and meet with you. Now there are many ways to sell your car privately. You can go on TradeMe, Facebook Marketplace, the Auto Trader, Turners, and then sites like Sell My Car Fast. So I'm not going to go through these. You can have a read through the different options, the pros and cons. Of course, people have positive stories of, for example, Facebook Marketplace. Others have very negative. Turners, similar thing here. What's the deal, and what do you need to know? So we've explained that all there, which is really useful to know, and I do suggest having a read of it. Finally, once you've sold your car, the best option is to make sure that you've completed the transaction, and that comes down to looking at the transfer of ownership, because you really want the car not to be yours anymore. They've paid for it, and you don't want to be liable for any sort of tickets or anything like that. So we've comprehensively listed what you need to know there, and then we've also listed some frequently asked questions which are worthwhile, looking at the best way to clean a car, what photos should you take, how to kind of photograph it, and looking at the process of how to get paid for the car. Should it be cash or direct bank transfer, things like PayPal, of course, bank checks sound good, but are they genuine? Perhaps, probably yes, but sometimes not worth the risk. And then paperwork as well. What do you need to know? As I said, there is some comprehensive information on this guide and some of our other ones. So thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions about anything to do with selling your car, do let us know. There's a comment section down below. We're very active in responding. And if you have any tips to improve our guide on MoneyHub, please also tell us as well, or anything else that you think is useful. Thanks very much for watching, and you can find the guides linked below to help you.